For more than 1,000 years, the Roman Empire ruled a huge part of the world, from the deserts of Africa to the cold lands of Britannia, from Spain in the west to the Middle East in the east. Rome was powerful, rich, feared, respected. But after reaching the peak of glory, Rome slowly began to break, piece by piece, until one of the greatest empires in history collapsed. Today we will go deeper, very deeper, into the real story behind the fall of Rome. Not just Batlisa, not just Invadersa, but the real truth. Corruption, money problems, weak leadership, civil wars, disease, and foreign pressure. This is the full story of how the Roman Empire died. A story of power, a story of greed, a story of destruction, and a warning for every nation today. Let us begin. To understand how Rome fell, we must first understand how great Rome was. At its height, 1 million people lived under Roman rule, 5 million square kilometers of land, strongest army in the ancient world, advanced roads, aqueducts, cities, powerful economy, one emperor controlling everything. Rome looked unbreakable. It looked like an empire that would last forever. But no empire lasts forever, not even Rome. Inside the Empiria, very quietly, the cracks were already forming. The fall of Rome didn't begin with a single event. It began slowly, silently. The same way a big building starts cracking before it collapses. There were 5 major problems already growing inside Rome. Bad economy, too many wars, corruption, weak emperors, too big to control. These problems didn't destroy Rome instantly, but they weakened Rome year after year. Think of Rome like a giant tree. Outside it looked stronger, but inside it was rotting. One of the biggest causes of Rome's fall was money. Rome needed huge amounts of money to pay soldiers, build roads, feed the poor, run cities, maintain the empire. But the money started running out. Why? Wars were expensive. Rome fought everywhere in Africa, Europe, Asia. Soldiers needed payment. Weapons needed forging. Wars were draining the empire. No new lands to conquer. Rome used to get rich by conquering new lands. But by 150 CE, Rome had reached the maximum size. No more new gold. No more new slaves. No fresh income. Inflation. The government started mixing cheap metals with silver coinsa, and the value of money dropped. Prices rose. People suffered. Trust in the economy collapsed. Money problems weakened Rome. Like poison, Rome became extremely corrupt. Politicians stole money. Governors stole taxes. Rich families bought power. Bribery became normal. Every job had corruption. Tax collectors, generals, judges, landowners. People lost trust in government. A country cannot survive if its own leaders eat it from inside. Rome's strength was always its army. Disciplined, trained, unbeatable. But that changed. Problems. Soldiers wanted money, not loyalty. They fought for gold and not Rome. Generals wanted to become emperors. So armies fought each other. Rome hired foreign soldiers, called mercenaries. These soldiers didn't care about Romea. They cared only about payment. Barbarian tribes learned Roman tactics. Rome was no longer unbeatable. The Roman army became weak, divided, and unreliable. Chapter 6, A 100 Years of Civil War. 1 hour and 2 minutes, a 1 hour and 16 minutes. One of the most damaging events in Roman history was a period called the Crisis of the 3rd Century, 235 A 284 CE. In these 50 years, 26 emperors ruled. Almost all were murdered. Generals killed emperors. Armies fought each other. Provinces tried to break away. Rome wasn't at tea fighting enemies. Rome was fighting itself. If a nation fights insidia, outside enemies always win. Emperor Diocletian realized the empire was too big to control, so he divided it. Western Roman Empire, Eastern Roman Empire. This helped temporarily, but it also weakened unity. Two emperors, two governments, two sets of problems. The Western Empire became weaker and poorer. The Eastern Empire, Byzantine, became richer and stronger. This division played a huge role in Rome's final collapse. Rome's borders were constantly attacked by Goths, Vandals, Huns, Franks, Visigoths, Saxons. These tribes pushed against Rome like waves hitting a weak wall. Rome used to handle this easily, but now Rome was too weak, too poor, too divided. The most dangerous tribe was led by one man, Attila the Hun. The Huns forced other tribes to run into Roman territory. Rome could not stop them. In the year 410 CE, something happened. That shocked the entire world. The Visigoths, led by King Alaric, marched into Rome and captured the city. Rome was looted for 3 days. For many, it felt like the end of the world. The city that ruled the world for centuries had fallen to barbarians. 35 years later, in 455 CE, Rome was attacked again, this time by the Vandals. Rome was not invincible anymore. By 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire was almost dead. The economy collapsed. Army was broken. Cities were empty. Population dropped. Corruption everywhere. And barbarian kings ruled most lands. Finally, in 476 CE, a Germanic leader named Otto was removed. The last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus. This moment is seen as the official fall of the Western Roman Empire. Rome did not fall in one day. It fell piece by piece over centuries. The real causes were weak economy, corruption, civil wars, too much expansion, foreign invasions, weak leadership. Rome's fall teaches us a powerful lesson. No matter how strong a nation looks, if it becomes corrupt, divided, and greedy, it will collapse. But even though Rome fell, its culture, laws, architecture, language, and ideas shaped the world for thousands of years. Rome fell, but Rome's legacy lives forever. The Roman Empire has fallen, but the story did not end there. In many ways, the fall of Rome was just the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter full of chaos, darkness, fear, and change. The world Rome built collapsed. Cities emptied. Trade stopped. Learning declined. Barbarian kings ruled. And Europe entered a time we call the Dark Ages. But why did this period become so dark? What happened to the people who lived in former Roman lands? What happened to the last Roman institutions? How did the Eastern Roman Empire survive? And how did all of this change the future of the world? This is the second part of the story. Welcome to After Rome Fell. The Dark Age begins. When Rome collapsed in 476 CE, life changed overnight. For hundreds of years, Roman roads were safe. Roman laws were enforced. Roman taxes kept the empire running. But once the empire fell, everything stopped working. People faced new problems. No central government. No strong army. No stable economy. No trade protection. No food supply system. No organized law. Cities that were once full of life began to shrink. People ran to the countryside to survive. Education almost disappeared. Libraries were destroyed. Schools closed. The world became more dangerous, more uncertain, and more primitive. After Rome fell, many tribes formed their own kingdoms on Roman land. The main groups: the Visigoths, a Spain; the Ostrogoths, a Italy; the Vandals, a North Africa; the Franks, a France; the Angles and Saxons, a Britain; the Lombards, a Northern Italy. These tribes did not know Roman laws, Roman government, or Roman lifestyle. So, Europe became a mix of Roman culture plus barbarian rule. Many kings tried to copy Romania, but they didn't have the strength or organization to rebuild an empire. The Roman world was gone. Even though the Western Roman Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire continued. We call it the Byzantine Empire, with its capital in Constantinople. It still had Roman laws, Roman army, Roman culture, Roman architecture, Roman emperors. The East was richer and more stable, so it survived for almost 1,000 more years. Under Emperor Justinian, the Byzantines even tried to rebuild the old Roman Empire. He reconquered parts of Italy, Africa, and Spain. But wars, diseases, and money problems stopped the dream. Still, the Byzantine Empire became the last light of Rome. When government collapsed, something else rose here: the Christian church. People needed stability. They needed hope. They needed leadership. The church became the judge, the teacher, the protector, the leader. Priests became more powerful than kings. Monasteries became centers of learning. The church preserved many Roman books and knowledge. Without the church, much of Roman history would have been lost forever. Chapter 5, The Darkness begins. 10:00, a 1 hour and 25 minutes. The period after Rome fell is often called the Dark Ages. But why a darka? Because little education. Most people could not read or write. No centralized government. Small tribes ruled small lands. Fear of war. Tribes constantly attacked each other. Economic collapse. No money, no trade, no stable jobs. Diseases. Plague spread easily. Loss of Roman knowledge. Engineering, architecture, medicine almost forgotten. This was a world where survival was the main goal. One of the worst events after Rome fell was a series of deadly plagues. The plague of Justinian. 541 CE killed almost 25 million people. Cities became empty. Villages disappeared. Fields had no farmers. Economies collapsed even further. This made rebuilding civilization much more difficult. Chapter 7. The Warriors of the Dark Age. 1 hour and 40 minutes. 1 hour and 50 minutes. Voice. After Rome fell, many warrior groups rose to power. The Franks under Clovis. The Vikings from Scandinavia. The Saxons in England. The Lombards in Italy. The Moors in Spain. These warriors shaped Europe through battles, invasions, and new kingdoms. The world was violent. Armies were small but brutal. Cities were raided. Villages were burned. Survival depended on strength and strategy. Rome had advanced engineering, aqueducts, sewage systems, heated floors, public baths, complex architecture, organized roads. After Rome fell, most of this stopped working. People abandoned cities. Roads broke. Aqueducts dried. Complex buildings were no longer built. Human progress slowed down for centuries. Even in the darkness, small lights appeared. The Franks under Charlemagne began rebuilding learning. Monks copied books. Trade slowly restarted. Castles were built for protection. This was the early foundation for the Middle Aegis. a time when Europe slowly rebuilt itself. Even though Rome fell, its legacy continued forever. Rome gave the world laws, language Latin, architecture, roads, calendar, military structure, Christianity, alphabet, engineering, government ideas. Rome never truly died. It simply changed shape. The modern world still carries Roman influence everywhere. The fall of Rome was the end of an empiria, but the beginning of a new world. A world of new kingdomsa, new leadersa, new culturisa, new challenges. Rome fella, but Rome changed the world forever. This was